In our today's world, with everybody running through their lives with a lot of stress and a lot of challenges, it only makes sense, to me at least, that so many people suffer from panic attacks. The irony of a panic attack, the way I perceive it, is when we ask ourselves what's wrong with me, it's not the way that the panic attack wants to show us what's wrong with you, but everything that is right with you. A panic attack is like a person who is in an open ocean, almost drowning, and that ring, the SOS ring that is going to save you, that is the panic attack. If we didn't have panic attacks, we would go out and about of our own personal path. We would continuously negate our actual internal passion and purpose for the sake of somebody else's dream, or for the sake of something that is actually not feeding into the benevolence of our soul, without hearing the alarm, the internal alarm that rings and that tells you, buddy, something is utterly wrong here. But for your system to do it is a right thing. So I'm telling you this in order to, if you're going through that very hardcore experience of a panic attack, is not to drown in that ocean of helplessness, but to actually say, no, wait a second. I'm not dying here. I'm not gonna lose my mind. I have enough breath. My core system is very intact. And because it's so intact, I can actually hear the signal that is being communicated to me. What signal is that? Maybe it's a signal for my soul pushing through everything that my mind thought to be true that I need to have in my life to be happy, but actually, I'm not happy. Let me give you an example. I once had an amazing person that I worked with whose life in a picture was perfect. Living in a great mansion, having enough affluence so that even his grandkids can feed and live well off. Having 2 boats, working only when he needed to. But guess what? That very person was drowning at night from panic attacks. It was not because something was missing in his material life, but something internally was off that his soul wanted to communicate to him. And at night, when the stress was going down, when the overall active daily mind was muted, when he was in a sleep state, this is when the soul came knocking through. Duk duk, duk duk. Hey, do you realize something is off? Hey, are you truly fulfilled in your life? Hey, how much time do you have left in this lifetime, in this time span, in this limited experience here on earth, to actually nurture and live according to your soul's plan, to your purpose? So for anybody going through this, I'm inviting you to not identify so much with that experience, to not say, I am having a panic attack, but rather redirecting it by saying, I am experiencing a panic attack. My body's intelligence is so accurate that it signalizes to me to look deeper within. And I promise you, what seems to be the end of everything is actually just the crack in your life where God can let the light shine through. So I'm inviting you to work with that light. See that the downfall is actually your true awakening. Similarly as with a butterfly. It wasn't born a butterfly. It didn't come to life having wings. A butterfly, in order to exist, it needed to go through a death experience. It needed to be that caterpillar at first and go through initiation, a period where everything that caterpillar believed to be true, I'm just a caterpillar crawling through the earth and the mud and only touching the ground, all of a sudden, that truth wasn't true anymore for the caterpillar. What was true later on is that it would fly through the air, but having changed its own identity. And what I tell you here is very important, and I hope you don't miss it. I'm not telling you to change who you are. I'm inviting you to take away all the layers from everything that you are not. Sit down today, with or without your panic attack. See that that's the biggest gift your body could give you. And write down on a piece of paper, who am I if I'm nothing that I was told from the outside world? If we're gonna look back to whatever the DNA that we have incorporated from our ancestors is telling us, is that our being, our forefathers, they tried to survive. Survival was a daily matter. Now, if somebody would be hunted by a really wild animal, he or she would either fight or they would flight. This is created in the frontal cortex of our brain, is that imminent, instant reaction of, oh my God, do I have here something that is threatening my life? How will I respond to that? And chances are that person is not even going to engage in that mentally and logically, but very instinctively. Now, back in the ancient times, when a person was hunted, usually if that person survived, they after that would have been in a safe space where they could recharge, re-energize, and collect themselves. What allowed them to do that extra sprint, that extra mile, that really fast running in order to survive was the adrenal portion of their body, the adrenal glands. This is how you get adrenaline, right? Once the adrenaline kicks in, I'm sure you've experienced it, you can do things that you wouldn't even think you could do. You can do that Superman, Superwoman type of stuff. But here's what, if we don't recharge at the end of the day, our adrenal glands, which are in charge to build up that adrenaline for us, are going to be depleted. If that is depleted, chances are a person is going through an extensive period of time where they're extinguished their own energy and when they are overwhelmed. What works for them is to do some really thorough breath work, or to take ashwagandha, which is an amazing superfood you can get into a biostore that is actually replenishing your adrenal glands. Now you might wonder, okay, I live in an urban landscape, there's no animal chasing me. Why would my adrenal glands be empty? Why am I exhausted the whole time? Why am I tired even though I sleep? Why, even after drinking 2 sips of espresso, am I not waking up? It might be because every day in all our modern age, we've been confronted and introduced to so much information coming through us, towards us every day, that our mind instantly flips from, is this a flight mode or is this a fight mode? And we hardly give ourselves the time to just replenish and sit back. So I'm inviting you, what really works wonders is maybe just for a day over the weekend, to shut out your phone, put it on flight mode, no need to check it, no need to engage in the internet, just bring this whole baby of energy back to yourself and see how this works for you. And if a panic attack is nothing negative, but just your body's own innate intelligence of signaling to you a deeper truth, then by subscribing and attaching yourself to that button, you are connecting with me, signaling to you pearls of truth. Thank you so much for sharing with me your precious time. So much love. For a butterfly to become a butterfly, 51% of its cells as a caterpillar first needs to see the future, needs to connect with the identity of a butterfly. And don't get it wrong, ever since its first day, it always knew deep down it would become eventually the butterfly. It was always part of it. But it needed to shed away all the layers that would limit or prohibit that being from fully becoming who he or she was meant to be. And that's all what we're here for. I'm not telling you to change who you are. Your panic attack is not telling you to change who you are or that your life is wrong. All that we are inviting you is to remember to become a member again of who you truly are and take away all the layers of everything you're not. So today, or any other day, if you have a bit of time, take just one piece of blank paper. Sit down outside in nature, or even if you're in your beautiful apartment, no matter where you are, and just ask yourself the following question, because this is the most intimate conversation you will ever have with yourself. Who am I if I'm not anything I was told to be? If I take away everything that society, that my parents told me to be, what is left? And I would love to see your butterfly essence coming through. And for anybody else who doesn't have the intense, hardcore panic attacks that make you feel that your life is about to end, but just small nudges of uncomfortable feeling and uncomfortable being. For you, maybe what is important to see here is to protect more your space, your energetic space. We said in an earlier video that you and I and everybody we know, even if we know it or not, we are multi-dimensional beings, which means you're not just your physical body, you're not just your psychology, you're not just your neurology, but you're also your energy. In Vedic texts, they tell you about 10 different bodies, from your light body to your ethereal body to your energy body. I'm asking you to check within yourself of, at the end of the day, when you feel overwhelmed, and when there's little nudges of discomfort around you, to try to decipher that, try to decode that as also loving nudge from your own body, from your core, of maybe not allowing so much in, but actually being a bit more protective with who and what you're letting inside of your beautiful system. And what works wonders is, I don't know if you are a person who plans the day of the week, if you do so, put in 1 hour or just 10 minutes every day where it's just you time. It's a time of you being with yourself, you being with your breath, you taking time for yourself and disconnecting from everything that happens in the outside world. Because guess what? The outside world's gonna be there when we return. But how you're gonna react to it is up to you and how you feel in regard to yourself. So for anybody who's going through that, please drop a comment if it helped you, or maybe you want to share in this community of like-minded people what you've been through and how you overcame it. Because at the end of the day, we are only always walking each other home.